It doesn't matter that we're late. Hey everyone, I don't know how to start this podcast anymore. So hi.
Oh,
Um,
hi.
what a time. We've just been reading book reviews because um, that's what you do apparently when
It's the
you're
only form of
waiting to go.
escapism in this world of ours.
Yep. Anyway, D&D. That's a thing. Are you enjoying this segue? I thought this through so hard. I was like sitting here for like the full 15 minutes in which we're late for, thinking, how
How do we introduce the concept of D&D?
Dungeons and Dragons. Boy. Whew. So, werewolves.
Yep. And dreams, nightmares.
Again.
Good start.
You're welcome for that segue.
Yep.
I'm just, jazzy music.
Shiny thing.
Look, it's been a time. I've been filling out uni applications despite the fact I already go to uni. I don't know what's going on. Hey, Carmen, your character might be turning into a werewolf. What's your...
Oh no, he not might be, he is.
He is turning into a werewolf. I know what's happening in my campaigns. How's the emotions going?
Well, part of me is very excited because it's something. Because when I was creating my bot hunter Rascal, I was thinking about making a lycan in the first place, but I was like, well, that might be a bit much, and I'm not sure if that will fit in with like the entire story that's set up and everything. And then we came across werewolves, and then he got bit, and then he felt safe, and now he's basically a werewolf.
But he's neutral evil?
Yeah.
So...
He'll be changing to chaotic evil.
Yeah. Which basically means he still will be, like... I feel like he still has his own plans, but he will be less, like... Usually when he talks to the group, he's like, well, I have my own plans, but I'm friendly. I let forward like a facade of I'm kind, I'm friendly, I want to help. But I feel like when he turns chaotic evil, that will drop. And he will just be not an asshole, but he will not have that filter of just checking in on everyone and just be very selfish.
Oh boy. Yeah.
That's interesting.
How do you think your respective characters will react to this change in essentially your leader? Like, will it be like a shock? Like, how aware are you that he's evil aligning?
You want to go first, though?
I have to think. Oh, no.
To be honest, I feel like Rascal hasn't really shown his evil side to the group. Mainly because he wants to keep everyone on his good side of him. So he's like, well, I'm only evil when I'm in a room with someone alone. So I feel like you guys might have seen some bits of it, but not his complete like capability of being an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy is not aware of the evil side, but he is aware of asshole. So I guess like it would just be more of a case where it's like Boy would be able to read that like some people have a lot of troubles that they usually keep down. So like they're used to people who go to the pub to drink away some sorrows and that kind of stuff. So he's just like kind of scared of magic that kind of unleashes inner anger that people keep down. So Boy's just going to be a bit scared at first.
Well, when it comes for Neela, when it comes to how much they know about, Rascal's alignment, I'd say probably not at all. They don't think about these things with that much complexity, right? And to them, it's more like, Rascal is a authority figure who has been kind to them, and that's really all that matters to them.
Yeah.
I don't think if Neela saw like Rascal like before pre-werewolf Rascal doing something that they would consider evil, they would probably, get scared or, try to stop them in some way. But when it comes to like, so this next transformation, this like evil, like this chaotic evil, like werewolf Rascal, Neela would not like at all, I don't think. At least they would have this idea that like, anything like evil or wrong that Rascal is doing would be caused by this curse and not because of like Rascal.
Yeah. So
right?
It wasn't something inherent in them, it's something that they took on as becoming a werewolf.
Yeah. So they would want to probably stop it, right? get like old Rascal back. And I think that what I think is really interesting is I think the importance that choice is going to play in like this next like segment, depending on how Dave decides to play with, changing from neutral evil to chaotic evil isn't that big of a change. It's not like going from lawful good to chaotic evil. But if you're not, like, the way that werewolves work, from my understanding, I haven't looked too much into it, I just know from what I know from watching Dice Camera Action. I'm not sure if those are the actual rules for it, but from my understanding, you have to kind of like accept being a werewolf to a certain degree, and then you can control it better, but then your alignment never changes, or you don't, you fight against it, and then you can't control it at all, so you turn into a werewolf, and then in Rascal's case, you would attack your friends and etc. Right?
Holding it back makes you go insane, I think.
Yeah, it's basically you have blackout sessions. Like when you turn werewolf, you don't remember anything. You don't have control of everything, and when you accept it, you will turn into a werewolf, and you will eventually control it. But you will also turn chaotic evil.
Yeah. So I think the two choices for Rascal right now is either accept werewolf, and like just be werewolf for the rest of campaign and be chaotic evil and see how that turns out, or don't accept it. We struggle with it for a while, and then we eventually lift the curse. Which I don't know if we can do it with Annie's remove curse. I think we can. Dave might change the rules on that, or maybe those aren't the rules on that. I don't know, because I haven't looked into it. I don't want to metagame too much. So I think those are the two choices, right? Is either Rascal stays a werewolf or we lift the curse. I don't see it as, Rascal will forever stay a werewolf and fight against it at the same time. I think it has to be one or the other, right?
Yeah.
And I think that really comes down to what Carmen wants to do with the characters over what we want to do. Yeah. And I think it will create some interesting, character, drama depending on which path Rascal chooses. Does Rascal want to get rid of the curse because, he wants to be completely in control of who he is and he's afraid of it, especially if he blacks out, doesn't remember anything for the first time? Or does he think the best way to protect his friend, the curse, or what makes him more stronger, and like what he wants is to accept it? And that's what I think is really interesting.
So, Carmen, are you going to share your decision, or are you going to wait until in-game stuff? Because you could just be like, "Oh, that's cool," and then just sit here in silence and plot silently.
Well, we're here to talk about it. So I'm like, well, I don't want to keep it silent because I want to talk about it and like the idea behind it and what's gonna probably happen.
Yeah. So I would suggest, Carmen, talk about Rascal's thought process right now, but don't yet talk about the final decision you think Rascal is gonna take.
Yeah.
I think that should be a surprise for us.
I feel like when he got bitten, sure. Bitten?
Yeah.
Sure.
It might sound like thank you, but
bitten. No. But yeah, no, when he got bitten, he got bitten twice. Yeah. So the first time he shook it off, but the second time he got the curse basically. So I feel like if he's like, because we ended off on him having his hands slowly turning. I think his thought processes right now is like, oh fuck, this is something that's really gonna happen right now. It's not that something that will not happen. It's something that's like happening right now.
Yeah, imminent threat. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, I know he's struggling with staying with the group. Because he's like, I don't want to run away because I need to keep my eyes on them. I need to keep them safe. But he's also like, well, I'm the threat right now. Like, I don't know if I'm the one that will kill them if I stay with them. So he is thinking about that. And also, to be honest, he likes having such power over, like, even though it's a curse, he likes having that much power given to him. So he's like,
power hungry.
Yeah, he's like, do I accept it? Do I want to live with it? I feel like I do, but still, I don't. It's like he's very contemplative about, do I want to keep it or do I want to stay with the party right now? Because like, if I keep it, I might need to get away. I need to start like an entirely different life.
Yeah.
But if I don't keep it, I don't have the power anymore, and I'm back to being myself.
Yeah.
So it's like that weird.
The way up of what's important and
what
he wants to go in the future. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he saw what those werewolves in the forest could do, and he's like, well, that seems interesting. Let's see if I can do it as well.
Yeah. Interesting. Damn.
Although at the same time, he's seen us deal with werewolves.
Yeah.
So do you think it would also cross his mind where it's like, how will the others like react? Would they cast me out, or would they try to like
help me
cooperate to like make something? If so, what's the relationship with Kia going to be? Because there's the battle of leadership slightly. And now Kia's open for interpretation. If a position's just opened.
If Kia sees Rascal turning into a werewolf, and not just turning into a werewolf, kind of changing and being more evil aligned, and does what she deems as like the wrong thing, she'll just kill Rascal. She has, because she doesn't have, other than the kind of competitiveness and defensiveness of Kia being there, she has no other reference as to what Rascal is like character-wise. So she's still trying to work out who everyone is. So to see Rascal doing something like that, she'll just be like, well, who was evil in the first place? This is just who he is. Which wouldn't be true, potentially, because it would be kind of chaotic evil rather than neutral evil. But, Kia is having none of it.
Would Kia assume leadership of the group if Rascal went full, like, crazy evil and left? Or attacked and then left?
Not consciously. She'd hang back when everyone else is making decisions, and as long as everyone's being kind of logical and kind of doing the right thing and doing what's best for everyone, she wouldn't say anything. But the minute someone suggests something stupid, she'd be like, no, sit down.
Yeah.
We're not doing that. That's not happening. But either way, at the moment, she's like, oh, after all this is done, after we get back to the Crimson Petal, like, it's done. Like, my contract is over. I get the cash and go.
Yeah. At least that's what Kia thinks.
Dave might have other plans.
Who in the party do you think is going to be the most defensive of Rascal, regardless of, like, how he turns out, like, as a werewolf?
That's a good question.
I think, like, if you ask me, I think Theo.
Yeah.
Because Theo and Rascal is 26 right now, and they have known each other for like 10, 11 years. So since they were teenagers. I feel like Theo would maybe still defend Rascal after everything.
Yeah. I feel like Oakley might be one of those people as well.
Yeah.
Who's like, oh no, he's just going through a weird time.
Yeah.
But Oakley, I think, also probably has a stronger sense of justice or right and wrong than Theo does. So if Rascal goes way off the handle, right, you know, and does like really fucked up shit, I think Oakley would eventually be like, all right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think maybe Annie might have, at least at the very beginning, like, have that level of, like, at least from, like, Kia's perspective of it being kind of like, oh no, they're my friend. Please no, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Kia might be wrong in that, but,
It's about, I think the majority of the people in the group who are, like, considered friends of Rascal would still defend him, even though he turns to a monster.
Although Annie has recently, you know, at least Annie kind of right now feels betrayed by someone that she trusted, so she might be a little bit less likely to, you know, defend Rascal. If she believes that people that she trusted and thought were good people were actually not, then I don't know, maybe.
Well,
either way, if blood is drawn, she's not going to be happy.
No. Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to be happy. No. Quick question. Definitely haven't forgotten. Where are we going? What are we doing? Why are we traveling through this forest?
We're going to High, what was it again? Is it high something or is it
High
something
moon.
else?
We're
High
going
moon,
to a
yeah.
place where the cultists want to kill a guy, and we know they want to kill him because his name was in a book and it wasn't crossed out yet, and they kill someone every 10 days, so we have to get there before the end of the 10 day to maybe save his life, and also find out what the fuck was going on with Father Henry? The other guy, what's his name?
Yeah.
Father Henry, yeah.
Okay, right, yeah, no, I knew that.
Yeah.
I know what's happening in the campaigns I'm in. Speaking of campaigns that we're in, what a nightmare it is to forget, and nightmares lead us on to
Perfect segue.
Nightmares and forgetting lead us on to
the road to Elturel, and those sweet, sweet nightmares our characters had. What up with that?
I think maybe we should start with what the fuck was going on with Hattie.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
Because
go
we
with
had
that.
excuses for like us going through hell. What the fuck was going on with Hattie?
He's just having a psychotic break or something. Like, what?
I don't know. I haven't even asked Jenks about it, but I don't see how.
Well, he didn't really ask you a question. You and AJ's character, Hailra, like, he asked us questions to base the nightmare off, and he just said, you two, I'm mentioning your names, but I'm not going to ask you a question.
No.
I'm just going to leave it in the air.
Yeah, no, but then we talked about it on the podcast, and basically what we said on the podcast ended up being incorporated into, but I never had to roll a wisdom saving throw, so I don't know how that works.
I think because it's a phantom in the forest. I think
my theory at least was that the nightmare serpent, after poisoning all of us, was like, there's still a couple people in the forest, guess I'll go get them, and then left to fuck with you guys for a while, and that something about the forest makes these things more than just nightmares, or something like that.
Maybe something to do with the fields of the dead, because we were nearby it, and Artius, whatever his name is, said it ominously in the last session.
Yeah. Fuck. Those fields of the dead. What's the... You know what, let's keep on the nightmare subject. Who to start with? Jesus.
Should we start with Seymour, because he's not here?
Yeah, Seymour.
Seymour.
Seymour, tell us about your nightmare.
Yeah. Well, I think Seymour's his was the interesting one, because he was the one where halfway through it, his patron decided to do a fourth wall break and say, "Hey, dude, this is a dream."
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, that was funny.
What happened in his again?
He went to go see his family.
Went to his house.
He was given a note. Yeah.
About the hellhounds being released.
The hounds are coming. Yeah, the hellhounds were after him, and then all of a sudden he was, he had broken a contract with his crime lord.
He was on his way to deliver something. I think Dave did discuss it. I don't know if he discussed it afterwards or if he just discussed it with me, but he did discuss the idea that technically before we all mess up at the beginning of the campaign, his character was meant to deliver something to another town. In the same way that with the mess up that is with Hattie and their responsibility, it's a case of like, oh, you didn't deliver on time, you've still got to pay the price.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't deliver anything. Is that what so he already broke that contract?
I think so, yeah. So I think his dream was his fear of thinking, oh, the person who's responsible for giving me this, oh, if they find out I'm messed up, I'm fucked.
They're gonna go after my family.
So wait, is that after Elturel, it's gonna be...
Yeah, I think if the plan after Elturel is to go back to Waterdeep where he is, he's gonna get hunted. I think is what his fear is.
What if, oh my god, what if the reason that he didn't see his family in Waterdeep is because they're already dead? Because they were killed by the crime boss.
Well, no, he did. Well, no, that was the thing that broke the dream, is the fact that the crime boss said, we'll hurt your family, but we can't because we don't know where your family is. And then Seymour goes into his mind and thinks, oh, the reason he doesn't know is because I don't know. And the reason I don't know is because my patron won't let me because this is a dream. And that's when the patron comes over and says, hey, dude.
What up?
And then just bitch slaps into a lake of glass.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I bet he was looking forward to that. Not every day you get to bitch slap someone who's been irritating you.
Yeah, it's good shit.
You lost the soul coin. You summoned my devils and then didn't use them.
I'm just taking a note, don't mind me, because I take this podcast so seriously.
And then there's me with my pile of notes.
Oh my gosh.
Every time I see other people's notes, I feel so bad because the notes I take
Jesus Christ.
So many words.
are just like
Literally just like in Janksu was just like getting the sending messages between you and your boss. You were just like, I need a piece of paper and a pen.
Oh, and I dropped everything
You
everywhere.
pulled everything out.
The issue was like it wasn't just that like it's like a mess of like things with my notes in. There was no room on my desk because I keep meaning to tidy it up and I never do.
And you just going whoosh, swiping everything off.
Oh Jesus. Snipe's dream made me cry. Fucking outrageous.
We cursed it. The last podcast we said, when are we going to reach the point where we're going to cry? And then it happened.
Yeah. And then you made me cry. So
Thanks was like, challenge accepted.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was just so heartbreaking. And then like some sad music came on as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fuck the Beatles. Making private music.
Beatles. What's it, I don't have words. It was just so beautiful, that scene.
What was going through your and your character's mind throughout the entirety of your, what was it, 3 or 2 dream sequences?
Thank you, Naomi, for taking over.
Yeah.
I have no idea what to ask.
I think the beginning thing was more of the interesting one for Snipe because part of it was missing. Because there was technically meant to be somebody there, but because of the deal I'd made previously with the hags where I gave away a certain memory, that thing wasn't there anymore. So now it's just a point of curiosity for Sniper. It's like, maybe that was a bad idea of like selling that memory to the hags because it seems to be something that is haunting me at this point.
Yeah, it was like a you know, something is chasing you but you don't know what it is and yet it scares you kind of deal.
Yeah. Do you think that's gonna come back and bite you? Not knowing what
I don't
it
know.
is?
I'm always of the mindset where I can't predict Shanks, but I would love it if like we just came across the hags again.
Yes.
They just bump into them just to say, oh, how are you? And then like, because I haven't really used my chess piece, I just give it back and they say, oh, well, because you're giving it back, we'll give back the memory, and then I just get everything back.
Yeah, but I think they went to ship off the memory to somewhere because they got in a little foul, sure.
Yeah.
Foul, sure.
Yeah.
Words.
Well, considering how much stuff they had in the place, I feel like it's going to be a thing where it's like that's the next thing they're going to give to someone else.
Yeah, I think it's shipped off to something because I think someone overheard them talking about like get this to this place.
Yeah, they needed
Yeah,
it
what
for
if
a
it's
specific
like
reason.
But what if it's like the same thing that they did with like Kai and the Rock, where like some random person like comes in and they're like, we'll offer you this if you take this vial of mysterious something and bring it over to Elturel or something like that. You know, something weird like that. So we're like in Elturel and this random person comes up and is like, I'm supposed to put this here. And it's just
it's just the strings of your memory. Yeah.
God.
Could be.
It's an interesting one. One thing I will say is that I do personally, as just like the maker of Snipe, I know what the memory is, and so if I still had that memory and had that dream, I think my character would be a lot more panicked going anywhere near the river scenes with that thing chasing them. Because it's like, this thing is chasing me, wherever I go, it goes with me. I don't want it to hurt whatever I'm heading towards.
Yeah. Is it your main goal to get back to the river? Or Snipe's main goal to get back to the river?
Snipe doesn't really have a home or a lot of people to go back to. So for Snipe to get reminded of like, oh no, there is a place and a person I have to go back to is more of a driving force for Snipe to just think, yeah, I'm gonna fucking go home. Like regardless of what.
I'm gonna try to get back.
Yeah.
What if we just all went with Snipe instead?
Just go to the other world.
I will say there is a point where I have sworn to myself that if I reach a certain amount of HP lost, I'm not going to give a fuck anymore. And I'm just gonna let Snipe fucking not stop for anything. Just like go ahead and try and find where the other half of me is.
Yeah. Because I'm like, well, we probably, if it went to the abyss, we need to go to the abyss to get it back.
Yeah.
So.
Well, or the abyss comes to us in the form of whatever.
But I feel like it's because if Snipe says I have like 10, 12 days left, is it enough time to get to Elturel for us? And get this piece of Snipe back, basically.
The way I'm thinking it is because in the Lonely Tower I asked where the other half of me is, and it didn't show where the other half of me was. It just showed me like what the fuck that elf's name is, like Artaxis that we met in the Misty Forest. I think Snipe's goal is I find him, and because the way you looked at me, I know that something has happened. I've probably fucked up because I've given him a cursed like amulet that he's given back.
Yeah.
He may have been corrupted, therefore he's traveling in the abyss. Therefore, if I find him, force him to get the other half of me back for me, then I'll be fine. If not, I'll kill him before he kills me.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I think that he's gonna be the answer to that. I don't think it's an Elturel.
No, it's not Elturel.
If we're in Elturel, okay, hypothetically, if that doesn't solve like the answers to all of our questions, if we're in Elturel, a portal opens to the abyss. Everything's kind of semi-sorted in the best way it could possibly be. Do we jump through the portal to the abyss and hope we end up somewhere in the realm of where the other half of you is?
Just casually walk into the abyss while fucking battle is going on in Elturel.
Snipe's aim is literally, I'm going into the abyss. Like, you guys can choose whatever the fuck you want, I'm going. And it's a case where because it's another half of them, they're just hoping that the abyss is still at least a little bit maneuverable for the other half of them to already meet them halfway. Like, they're already trying to come back.
Yeah.
The issue with that is that the other half of me was mixed with a Minotaur.
Yeah.
So that could make it a lot more complicated, considering that is Baphomet responsible for mazes.
Yeah.
Wait, but what was the other half of you actually mixed with a Minotaur, or was that just the shape it assumed because it was going to that layer of the abyss?
Yeah.
It was going to the mazes.
Because you put in the maze amulet. Because I feel like if you've put it in another amulet, it might have gotten you to a different plane. Or a different layer in the abyss.
You could have put it in like any other, and you chose.
I grabbed the first one that was in my hand and put it in there.
Jenks was like, oh yeah.
It's that he did a fucking lucky dip on what was gonna happen.
Yep.
Oh, it could have been made so much easier. Like...
Well, I feel like most of the amulets are abyssal, I feel like.
Yeah,
so it would have been the abyss, but maybe a different layer or a different creature or anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel
So
like
that's why I think it's easier to find the guy who's got hold of me, who is this elf, and just say, okay, what the fuck are you doing? Get the other half of me back before you do worse damage to yourself than you want.
Yeah, probably better in the mazes than like fucking, I don't know, the Demogorgon castle thing.
But what if half of Snipe is inside that elf?
Oh, I'll kill him. I'll rip him out. What's going on? I'm gonna rip him out.
I think
it would be interesting because it's also another sun elf, and I feel like I'm trying to guess ahead. I feel like Janks is going to play an idea where this elf is the representation of what Reyna could become.
Ooh.
And it's a case where it's like, oh.
I think either way, I think that he's probably the key that'll get you back to your other half.
Yeah. And the way the road is going, I think Elturel's not what the answer is, but I think he is going to Elturel.
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting.
Because if certain abyssal forces say, oh, something's going to happen in Elturel to do with certain abyssal forces, then anyone who's interested in that will go to Elturel.
That's a good point. How many abyssal adjacent creatures or worshippers or whatever are going to
if Candlekeep is aware that something's going on, like in Elturel, for you to get there, then people who are part of the abyssal force that will cause the thing in Elturel will definitely know what's going on.
Oh no, we're gonna arrive in Elturel and it's gonna be like Comic-Con but for abyssals.
Just a meetup of everyone. Just like, hi there, long time no see. How you doing?
Hey, I haven't seen you in 3 centuries. How you doing, man? I've just been eating babies. Nice.
Yeah, okay, I've been killed 77 times.
I also thought what we could do if we split up is looking at the map. Looking at the map, if people went to Scornabel and other people went to Hardbuckler and back, they could take the shortcut like through the Fields of the Dead and meet them at the river.
Yeah.
Like halfway to Elturel, between Elturel and Scornabel, because it's kind of a shortcut.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, well, if there's nothing on the map, it just says it's like fields, and sure, it's the Fields of the Dead, but how bad can the Fields of the Dead be?
It's probably fine, and it's very short, right? Like we're not going from like fucking Subar to Elturel. We're going from like Triel or even like further along.
Do y'all have the map?
That's like a day or two.
I have the map up, yeah.
Can someone send it to me on Discord and I will check it up on the stream?
It's on Road to Elturel, first thing.
But question, what does Hattie
Oh yeah.
believe to find in Heartbuckler?
Yeah.
Because like the symbol on the picture is a little gold thing.
Should we finish with the dreams first, or should we move on to that?
Yeah, let's I'm
Yeah.
just gonna
Randomly put Kaya. What was going on there?
Oh shit. Kaya's I think Kaya had like the most dreams. Like
yeah, the most
a
kind
lot of shit happened in her dreams. It was weird. Let's see, what was in my notes?
It was mainly you just running through curtains of different lives of Kaya.
Yeah, it was first was her in Long Saddle. Was her hometown, the very beginning. Then it was her on a cruise, which was fun. And then those were like the 2 lives that like she went through, but like nothing really bad happened in those necessarily.
No.
Except like the very end where they were kind of, that was so cool, by the way. Fucking
Yeah.
Jenks with all of the goddamn imagery.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think what was more interesting were the last 2. The one with like Luna at the like end of a like dark room.
Yeah.
And like Kaya couldn't really get to her properly.
Yeah.
And then the last one in the tavern, which
Yeah.
Yeah.
which for
She tried to dodge.
yeah, I think she's pretty successfully dodged that one, but
It's interesting that like we've been given little tidbits of Kaya's life though.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Especially
It's
at the
an
beginning.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to kind of go over parts of Kaya's backstory that she wouldn't mention otherwise.
Yeah. How many other versions of herself do you have written down, like, in writing with Jenks?
I want people to understand that, like, a good 70% of the shit that was going on in those dreams, I had no fucking clue what was going on. I was writing notes on my own backstory because Jenks was just making shit up, and I was also making shit up.
I didn't realize it was that improvised. Improvised. That is a word.
That is a word, yes.
Big
Yeah,
brain.
what I had right was she came from a small town, lived with her dad in a bakery. That was all. That was fucking all that I had on that segment. And he was like, "Oh yeah, Long Saddle and like fucking family trees and houses."
Passing down the magics.
Like,
Yeah.
what is happening?
Jeez.
So that was interesting. And then everything on the cruise was improvised too. None of that was planned on my part, at least.
Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, none of that. I had no, but but it all corresponded with shit that I had given him before.
Mm.
So it all intersected. So it was fine and interesting.
It seems to
What's
be
the
a really looking at it. It's
Free and Noah.
Alright. I was thinking, like, looking at Kaya's like whole situation, it seems to be a pattern of Kaya's just like development through different lives, and that they live a certain different life, and then suddenly shit starts to hit the fan, so she runs.
Yeah.
That is. Oh yeah, you asked how many lives I have written down. So I have I got Seth, I got Ash, I got Kaya. Those were the 3 that I wrote down.
Okay.
A couple others in between both Seth and Ash and Kaya. So like I knew that there were a couple, but I hadn't planned them out.
How?
If I had to estimate, she went through maybe like maybe 9, 8 different versions.
Wow.
Not including like the random scams she would pull sometimes,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
Like maybe 6 or 7 like important like
Hmm.
versions of herself that she was like for a while.
Yeah.
Right?
Name changes.
Can you see there being a point in which Kaya does the same thing again and kind of abandons the group? And
Absolutely. Well, she thinks she can see a point where she will abandon the group. I don't know anymore. It's because of everything that's happened. I think she definitely doesn't want to leave, even though she's trying to convince herself that she wants to leave.
yeah.
Which
Is
is,
she of the mindset where she thinks like, I don't want to leave, but I'm gonna have to at some point because that's what usually happens because bad things happen.
oh yeah,
that
yeah.
forces me to
She's
leave.
just waiting for the moment where shit hits the fan.
Hmm.
Right?
I think we've hit a couple of fans with some shit
Yeah.
along this journey.
You know, but like no one's died yet, right?
Well,
yeah. Well, I feel like there has to be yourself,
including
maybe.
yourself. I think there's been a few close calls.
Yeah, but I feel like something really dramatic has to happen to completely change up a name and identity again.
Yeah.
Because it's not.
I think that she was kind of, because she doesn't think ahead about most things, right? So she wasn't really thinking about it until Lasser told her that the sword that Seymour had is somehow connected to his family. And after he said that, Kaya was kind of like, okay, I gotta make sure that I'm cool with leaving at any moment. Because, it's just fucking, she just freaks out at things like that. Like, things that, when it seems like, you know, some form of fate is involved, she will freak out.
But it's that kind of freak out and that stubbornness against fate that you were saying, let's split up in a way which isn't on the cards that you pulled out. So you were saying Kaya and Hattie can go to Hard Buckle or wherever, and Seymour and Snipe can go, and Raina can go wherever as well. They can go to that other place.
Let me try to explain a little bit Kaya's relationship with fate, right? Because, like, I remember it does seem kind of weird. Why would Kaya pick the tarot deck if she hates the idea of fate, right? But there were a couple. So she chose the tarot deck one because it reminded her of a friend, right? And she was like, it reminded her of Luna because Luna also had a tarot deck and read fortunes and shit. So she was like, this is also she really liked the aesthetic. It was fucking bone cards. It was cool. So again, she didn't really think ahead of what it might entail. And even then, the way she sees fortune telling magic, like actual magic, is that it's not fate, right? It's like probability. Like, it's not about knowing the future as much as it is about knowing more things about the present and then being able to come up with what might happen in the future if someone were to go down a specific path, right? Yeah. So for her, it's like gathering intel, right? She might use a spell like augury to gather intel about things, you know? If we went here, what's the most likely thing that would happen? But nothing is supposed to be set in stone for her, right? Like, that all depends on like the actions that people take in order to get there, and that's what determines if something will happen or not. There's nothing that will 100% guaranteed happen. So like the prophecy in the very beginning is also just intel. There was like what people want to happen, so they work towards it, so it will probably happen. It isn't that was said 100 years ago, and that means 100% that it will happen. It's just something
a possibility,
Exactly, and something that people actively work towards, and that's why it's happening, because of the actions, not because of the prophecy. Right?
What about I've just remembered this inconsequential in the general scheme of things of what we're talking about, but there was a card that fell out of the pack when Granny was reading from them, and it said that we were either destined for really horrific things or really good things.
Yeah, which ultimately means nothing, right?
Right.
That's kind of like the what Kaya that part Kaya saw almost like a scam, like she meant to do that. But like it didn't really fucking matter, right? Because if a card comes up and it's to either say like one scenario or the opposite scenario, you're just saying both things, right? If you say this coin
it's not a yes or no, it's a maybe.
This coin will either land on heads or tails, you're not saying shit, right? You're not
This is a coin is what you're saying.
Exactly.
It lands balanced between the two.
So with the cards, right, she sees them as valuable intel, but she didn't expect them to be like that. She didn't expect them to be a fucking like, here's a picture of you in a place. So now her plan right now is she needs to disprove the cards if she ever wants to use them again, right? So she can.
Do you think she'll be able to do that?
I don't know. It depends on what Jenks has planned. But if she can disprove them, then she knows, oh, they're just showing a likely scenario based on what I'm saying. They don't mean shit. They change all of the time.
What's the fear in Kaya that tells her that she has to disprove them, that she has to say that, because like she's experienced gods before, like she has magic, she knows that kind of stuff is real. So what is it about the idea of predicting the future and fate that makes her so kind of her like scrabble for kind of normality and kind of logic and science rather than just accepting it just as it is?
Well, because when it comes to the gods, right, of course Kaya knows that they exist, but she just sees them as powerful entities, right? Like a sort of thing where the more like people worship powerful entities like on the material plane as well that aren't gods. People worship devils, people worship demons. She sees the only thing she sees that differentiates gods from other creatures that are being worshipped is that they're more powerful. Like that's the only thing that like differentiates her from gods is their power, right?
Yeah.
That's why she doesn't understand worship at all, because it's just about like this is just a power. This isn't some all-knowing entity that will determine the future of every living being on Earth. This is just some powerful being that likes to, you know, fucking
mess with people.
Play. Yeah, that just likes to mess with people. And she sees fate as gods messing with people, right? It's like gods are people are manipulating her into being at a certain place or doing a certain thing, you know, by manipulating her to go to places, right? And she doesn't like that. She needs to be in control of what she does
and independent of that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So her fight against fate is just her belief is that it's a fight against, you know, fucking these powerful beings that are trying to control everything. Basically saying, fuck you can't control me. So that's kind of her way of thinking about it, right?
That's really interesting. What was Rayna's and Snipe's reaction to the cards not only kind of coming out as being very specific to like the two locations and what we were talking about, but also to us as people and showing us in those places? The tiki bar music is back. That was a perfect time for a slight pause in what we were talking about.
Just the contemplation music. I guess for Snipe, they don't really know that much about tarot cards, so their results was literally just like, well, it's not a yes and it's not a no, so it's fucking useless as far as I'm concerned. Like, regardless of like if it changed into looking like us or like, you know, gave a specific about what would happen, the fact it didn't like really fully answer the question we were asking just meant, well, that's just nothing. That's no point to us.
Well, I think it actually answered the question, or else if I interpreted correctly, because I think what it was saying is that, you know, it was saying pretty decisively, if I'm not wrong, and I might be wrong, was the detour, was Hattie's detour to go to Hardbook worth it? I think was the question we asked. Yeah. And the question, but it didn't really say for Elturel. No, it said no. The quest to Hardbuckler will not help you in Elturel because it's the card of self-reflection, and it's about the hermit card, right? It's about you. It's not about Elturel. And it was also saying quest. Exactly. It was also saying that if you go to Scornabel, you will find what you're looking for. Right?
Because it was the Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
If that were the case, how would Kaya think that? Well, I want to avoid that card coming. Well, it's interesting how Kaya would think like, oh no, I don't want this fate. Is it the fact that it just depicts a certainty happening, or was it the outcomes on the card that determined Kaya to think, no, I don't want this to happen?
It's not that she doesn't want it to happen. She wants Snipe to find like whatever. It's that she needs to prove to herself that it's not a guarantee that it will happen, right? And if she can prove that to herself, then she knows if she pulls up another card and it has her on again, that's just something that she can either work towards or work against, and either way it depends on her choices.
She still has free will if she can disprove these cards.
Which is why she's like, if Snipe goes there, Snipe will find what they're looking for, but they don't need me to be there. And then if they're there and I'm not there, we've disproved the cards, right? And it's good. I can use them. Which is why she wants to go with Hattie and wants everyone else to go there. So you can still find your, you know, luck and fortune or whatever, but you know.
What if the dependent of luck and fortune of Snipe is dependent on Kaya being there?
Yeah. Because on the card it depicted like Kaya first with Snipe on their side.
Yeah.
So Kaya was the first person to show up basically, and closest to the Wheel of Fortune. So I feel like it's picked in some way that Jenks picked it out like Kaya is maybe needed for Snipe to succeed in what they want to do. If we split up, so if we split up, and you go with Hattie, it might completely fuck over shit that's happening in Scornabel, and we need to wait those 8 days for you guys to come back.
Yeah.
That would be really. It would be really.
And then we'd miss Elturel.
Yeah. No, we don't miss Elturel.
Or we'd have to go to Elturel without
Snipe.
Well, I think that would be. Now I'm just imagining a scenario where you get there and you need Kaya in order to progress. So, like, you know, her a message, And then I'm really not sure what she would do, because then she'd be like, fuck.
Yeah.
I think
Massive
at that point,
freak out time.
at that point she would go to help Snipe, because Snipe is more important, but she would probably never use the cards again, ever. And she would hate that, and she might actually leave, depending on stuff.
Thanks for the bit, Goblin.
Thank you. Just talking about fate.
Just, you know, fate.
Yeah. Speaking of fate, Reyna!
Yeah.
Hey,
What was Reyna, our god-attracting, Pokemon god-collecting, gotta-catch-em-all character?
I just have to
Reyna?
draw Reyna in a Pokemon outfit right now with every god she has in like a Pokeball. Yeah.
What you should start doing is, whenever you have an issue, you just sit down with all of them and just like have like a like, you know, when you meditate and you go into like a trance.
Yeah.
You should like see if you can control it and get like a conference table up and get every god that you know to sit around and be like, okay guys, we
need to talk.
They all have like a glass or a flag in front of them that corresponds to the one.
It's like the UN meetings, and you've got a little mic and a
Sorry, Reyna, before you go. No, actually what Kaya would do is she would keep using the cards until she could disprove one. So she'd probably just get obsessed with disproving cards. Yeah,
okay.
that's like all she would do.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue, Reyna.
Well, it was weird because the classes make sense, but the 16 doors with like a door to every goddamn plane of existence, basically. I'm still not sure why they were there, because I'm like, well, gods, Lolith is in the abyss, and Eldath and Corellian are basically, if I'm correct, behind the divine gates, basically. So they don't have anything to do with the planes, I feel like.
The abyss is a plane, and the celestial gate, or like the divine realms, are a plane.
But why did every door show up with every plane of existence?
Maybe
that's the question as to why all the other glasses showed up as well. I think it's a case where it's like, I don't know,
I think it's about like the choice, right?
Yeah, it's basically, I feel like it's talking about, because when I tried to drink out of one of the, basically I tried to drink out of the goblets, it went out of the, what's the link again? I think the goblet.
The cup of Corellian you tried to drink out of, but the water in the jug that filled all the goblets went down from there instead of leaving from the cup. Yeah,
so that was like having no choice in which you choose, basically. But then every goddamn god showed up in form of a goblet or drinking.
Yeah. I think, like, my interpretation of it was a bit abstract, maybe. So saying that you, because I mean it was all based on like our fears, right? But the way I read it, it was like you have the ability to have access to all gods. Like there's something specific about you that, although you might not have choice in kind of who you're kind of with at any one moment, but like you have the ability to kind of talk with most gods, unlike lots of other people.
Yeah.
When do you think the nightmare actually started? Because we might have just all been dreaming, and getting into the like plane where we had to fight an abyssal dreadnought might have been the nightmare.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just what we dream about, you know?
Yeah, that's just what we dream. That was just what we dreamed. Because we never questioned when the nightmare starts.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair. Also, Hattie didn't do that, right? That I thought was very strange. Hattie never went through any sort of dream.
No.
Hattie just dropped right into the abyssal dreadnought ship.
They went through fighting a sort of illusion.
Yeah,
and
but
then
that
just
was
at the same time.
Maybe it was like just a dream plane, and you were all in like various rooms and mazes, and to get to the glass sea, you had to go through your own specific nightmares, and then you were brought into a place where we all had a collective nightmare. But because I was coming in late, as it were, I was just like chucked in at whichever point you guys were already at. So if you were still in your individual rooms, I would have been put in my own one. and then found my way to the glass sea. Maybe
Maybe it's to do with the buildup of the smoke inside the hut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so
Because
interesting.
yeah.
Can't believe we were hotboxed with fucking poisonous
it's
gas.
it's smart.
Wasn't
if you
even
think
the fun
about it.
kind of hotboxing.
But yeah, I think Reina's nightmare is not really a nightmare in our eyes right now, more like trying to figure out like what does it mean and what.
I think maybe the nightmare is the idea that it confuses you and you don't really know the answer to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the nightmare doesn't necessarily have to scare you.
No.
Yeah. So, based on beliefs of fate and etc., where are we going next? I've got the map here now. I don't know how easily y'all can see this.
This is Kaya's plan. So Kaya wants, at this point, for her and Hattie to go from the Tradeway to Hardbuckler and back. Preferably, since we're probably not going to be in too much danger, or even because the Fields of the Dead are weird at night, to travel through the night as much as they can and take a couple points of exhaustion to get there faster, and meet up with everybody else faster. And then for everybody else to go to Scornabel and then figure out what goes on there, then take like a boat or something down the river. Meanwhile, Hattie and Kaya would go either like to Triel and then down, instead of going to Scornabel, shortcut through the Fields of the Dead and then meet up at the river to Elturel.
Okay.
That's her
I took none of that in. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not even gonna pretend
so the idea for Kaya is to avoid Scornabel full stop.
Yes, completely. Not even.
I was gonna say, like, what are you actually gonna avoid ever even going near the tavern near me, near a wheel of a wagon? So it all just lines up.
So going back to the point of what if you are the key to that, because you're the one who have been to that tavern before, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you could be the inn to allow Snipe to get into their inn.
Yeah, because I haven't been to the tavern.
Yeah, because it's like a next to like a caravan village or something, right? Am I remembering it? Like it's not just like a local that people go to. It's a specific
it's
kind
a passing.
of...
Yeah.
So Kaya would probably this is more metagaming because Kaya's not thinking that far ahead at all. Yeah. She's like, they'll be able to figure it out. They don't need to be there. But if it does turn out that Kaya is needed there, she'll first try to solve it just through sending messages, and if she can't, she would turn back with Hattie. She wouldn't let Hattie go on her own. She'd say, okay, Hattie, your psychoist has to wait. You gotta go save Snipe's life. And then she would go to Scornabel, she would fix the problem, and then she would read another fortune and try to change something else. Right?
I think that's easier to read for our audience members. Just been messing with the map. Hattie...
Well, technically the immediate first thing we need to do is find Seymour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. We've just kind of lost someone off the back of the
He's
horse.
probably eaten up by some sort of pack of displacer beasts.
That's so embarrassing. Seymour's just gonna wake up, he's gonna be like encircled by like 12 displacer beasts. What the fuck?
Yet again, another battle he missed.
Yep.
As far as Hattie's concerned, she is so excited to recreate the tarot card.
That's another thing. Apparently, according to the tarot card, there might be a fucking war going on in Hardbuckler right now.
Yeah, that Seymour has to fight, which is why Kaya said, oh, Seymour go with Snipe. Because Seymour's part of Hattie's card.
Yeah.
Hattie's card. Oh, shit, well, Kaya's not too concerned. If Seymour decided, nah, I'm gonna go with you and Hattie, she wouldn't be too upset. Like, she's more like about changing her own fate than changing anybody else's.
Mm-hmm.
You know? That's interesting. The fucking apparently a war is going on there. So
yeah. I also want to know if it's something that Hattie causes.
I know. I was just thinking that she'll try to recreate it. Wasn't the city also on fire? So like she gets the thing and just says, "Well, the city's not on fire."
Oh no, I didn't mean it like that. I meant like the situation will be happening around her, but she's gonna go and find the hill where it is and like hold it up and be like, "Seymour, do we match?"
Yeah. Well, I'm curious what
Kaya,
the thing
move
that
to the right.
move a little bit over there, a little bit. Let's take a picture.
Let's get off screen for a second.
Can the painter come in? Wait, Snipe, didn't you say you had a way of capturing images back in your world? Can you come in and do that?
Oh god, I wish Claire Hugh was there. She could take a picture.
Yeah.
But to be honest, because if Hattie wants to recreate the picture, what do you think you're gonna find in Hardbuckler? Like, what do you think it's gonna be? Because it's not gonna help us in Elturel. and it's on the card. It's a little golden yellow thing.
Yeah.
So I think I have my own suspicions, but what do you think?
So, okay, I'm gonna just try and work out if I've remembered this right. But
I think it's details to her family.
Yeah. But so the way that Hattie, spoiler alert, the way that Hattie got into Candlekeep was she was at the orphanage, and they kind of have a very loose way of looking after the kids, and she was out in the town with some of her friends, and she pickpocketed a pocket watch off like her, who is essentially her boss right now, and I think the pocket watch or something like that is what she will find in her bucket.
Oh, you're right, because it's small and gold.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I feel like it's
great.
maybe like a little necklace with pictures or something. That was I was thinking, like something to her family.
I think it's something along those
details
lines.
to where to find your family.
Because he specifically said long time storage.
Yeah.
So it's something from your past.
Or because what did he say? Fuck for all of my notes. It was
I fucking
something.
love the idea of it being the pocket watch. That's so cool.
It's something like something someone gave me a long time ago, which I think will help you. It was worded something like that. So Hattie immediately went to, oh, it's a weapon. It's something that will make me hit people harder. That's how she sees it.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to either be the pocket watch or like a necklace or something with pictures in.
Yeah, because it will help you, and you're right now on the journey of discovering who you are.
Yeah. And the tarot card said self-reflection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not going to help us with Elturel. I think it's really something about your identity.
Yeah.
Well, why would Candlekeep care about what goes on in her group, considering that they didn't know what she was doing for the entire month?
Thick ass weapon, you know.
It's an abyssal and infernal resistance.
Or it's the pocket watch from Lost Beyond Cruel Tides.
Yeah.
Oh fucking hell!
It's heart shaped.
She would just press it and we would all instantly die.
That's how the sissy goes in flames.
There was a test scene for Lost Beyond Cruel Tides. We know what's gonna happen now.
Oh no! That's exactly what it is. I really want it to be that now.
Because I saw Janks and Maddie. Yeah. I saw Janks and Maddie talk about like doing something together or like crossover or something. So
oh my god, what if it actually were the fucking heart pocket watch?
What if
that's how we reintroduce Last Beyond the Cruel Tides?
Yeah. What if
that's how we come back to it.
They're all keeping it from us as Road to Elturel players, but every other player in CarpeDM knows that the crossover is happening and they're all getting ready for the massive crossover event of all of the campaigns.
Yeah.
We would all have to play like 2 characters.
This is how we avoid the time slip.
Potentially have to play 3 if they're pulling Keat in as well.
Oh my god.
Hattie, Keat, and Dirk.
Oh my god.
What a combination.
Oh my god, can you imagine if like, you guys at Elturel, the portals to the abyss opens up and Keat just walks out on an entire herd of sheep. Just like, what I miss?
I'm here, bitches.
Oh no, Hattie and Keat. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh my god, Kaya would love Keat. They would get along so well.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I think
let's
Seymour
hope
would really like Clara Hugh.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they would get along.
Well, let's hope it's not the same pocket watch. Let's hope it's something else. Just to make it a bit easier on ourselves.
Let's hope it's not the nuke pocket watch.
Yeah.
Maybe the pocket watch that you stole is like somehow magical and can like bring you to your family in some way. It's like a clue.
Maybe. I don't know. No. Hattie's like, it's gonna be a weapon. I'm gonna be able to go there, get a lock for the notebook, be able to get another notebook to write down. I realize I've messed it up in the campaign about which notebook has the code word names in. So the notebook I've got now, I'm writing your original names in, but your code names are in the front of the book. And then in the other book, it's going to be code names only. And I messed it up a few times which way round.
You know, speaking of all of that like name stuff, Literally, Kaya has wanted to talk to Hattie ever since the Lonely Tower and has never gotten a chance. I keep trying to find a moment where like Kaya and Hattie can have a chat, and it never happens.
What does she want to talk about? Ooh.
Well, if
Yeah,
you
just
split
talk
up
about
and go
what
to
happened
Hardbuckle, you'll have some topical
Yeah.
conversation on the way.
That's true. Although I vote that's a bad idea. I think we need to sort the Elturel stuff out first, and then we can go to...
we got 2 months, we're fine.
Do we
Yeah,
still
and-
have 2 months? It's been 2 months for a long time.
I think it's getting into a month and a half soon.
Yeah.
But either way, like Kaya's logic is that like we're not slowing down Snipe in any way because Snipe is still going like to the place,
Yeah.
right? So it should be fine.
We have a closer deadline, which is Snipe's
Exactly.
death,
Yeah.
potentially. So
And I
My
also,
potential death.
I also think that Kaya and Hattie can take a couple exhaustion points in order to get there faster if they
Yeah.
ride through the night, you know.
that's what my plan was that actually Hattie goes alone. That's how Hattie saw it, of like, well, Snipe needs all the support she can get, but I have this thing that I have to do right now, but I'll be back and like ride fast as hell with a little halfling saddle on a big ass horse.
Yeah, but it's almost more convenient to take Kaya with you because Liam's tiny hut. So if
Yeah.
you do decide to take like short rests and stuff, you're completely like safe.
And also sending, so I either
And
need to take
sending.
Raina or Kaya with me
Exactly.
for
Yeah.
sending.
So it makes a lot of sense, Kaya's plan, but it is also totally because
Yeah, and I think
of the tarot
it will
cards.
Kaya will join Hattie because of the cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
But
Sure,
what
persuasive
are we
of-
gonna do with the NPC and with Helra? Because they're
They're
also
on the way to Arceus is on his way to Elturel, so he'd probably take the quickest route to Elturel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same for Helra. I think it makes both narrative sense and Kaya would really advocate for only Kaya and Hattie going and everyone else going the other way. Because it doesn't really make sense for Helra to take a route like that when
Yeah.
she's supposed to go to Elturel, and also it
Yeah.
doesn't like I think it makes more sense to give Snipe as much support as they need, but we need to if we're separating, we need Kaya and Reina to separate in some way because we both
Yeah.
have sent it, right?
Yeah. I think I agree. I don't currently see a reason for Helra
Helra.
to be staying with us, either to go to Hardbuckler or the other place.
Well, Scornabel's on the way, though.
Scornabel, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
what I mean is like you might end up staying the night, and even if Helra does as well, the likelihood is in the morning Helra's going to be up and at 'em going to Elturel.
Yeah.
You know, like she's got deep emotional things to do in Elturel,
I
as
think
well
that
as
Helra would
business
probably. I think it does make sense to be like, okay, I'll hang back like a day so that I can travel in a group because it's safer to travel in a group anyways. Go to a completely different place that's not in the right direction. and then-
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm curious as to what will happen now, because
Yeah.
with what we've seen of Helra's illusional battle, there might be something quite bad that occurs if Helra sees what's going on between Reina and/or Snipe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Super interesting.
There's a lot of inner conflict that can be created if we know shit of each other.
The one thing I think what could happen is Seymour might come with me and Hattie. Kaya would be against it.
Oh yeah, I think Seymour
But
might want to go
Seymour
with Kaya.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
we can find
That's
him.
the only one that makes
he's alive.
narrative sense as well.
What are we doing about that? Are we just gonna wait for him to
We're just gonna ride back, I guess.
Catch
Just
up.
fetch him. We're not
Walk
that far
back?
away. Right?
No.
Like maybe 30 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
It depends where we lost
It
him.
was
We
a
never really
few-
remembered where we lost him.
I think we lost him when we started
Running.
like running.
Mm-hmm.
He fell off the horse when the Displacer Beast tackled Kaya, and then we were running, and then we ran far enough for them to not chase us, and then
Yeah.
we stopped and birds. So I would say like 30 minutes away, an hour at max.
I think it's longer than that.
Slow
because
pace.
We were within viewing distance of
Scornabel.
Subar.
Subar.
Yeah,
No,
Subar.
the other
Subar.
one, right?
Subar?
Weren't we in viewing distance of Triel?
No, Subar.
No,
It's
no.
Subar.
Yeah,
And
Subar's the next bit.
it was about a day's
Oh, Subar.
journey.
Mm-hmm.
So we we lost him a little bit back.
Yeah, and we went in
It's
full
gonna be
gallop.
a good few hours before he can catch up, especially on foot. Actually, being on horse at a normal pace and being on foot is the same speed, right?
Yeah, but we went almost full gallop, so
Yeah.
for a big part of it.
We can gallop back.
Or we could just get Dave to give up on that carriage and roll on you.
Yeah.
Go finish your job over there where you need to go and just roll
The
up
fact
in
that
the
there was basically we didn't kill them, they ran away, and we heard the noises that they were getting more. Like it's not going good.
Yeah, no, that's not. It's gonna be the first of. Everyone else, just go get a cup of tea. Dave, roll for initiative.
Yeah, good luck.
I don't think we're that. I think it's gonna be fine. We're not that far away. Listen.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I mean
I'm just thinking, like, realistically, would it have taken us hours to have realized that Seymour was missing? Like,
we had some discussion and so used to him not talking, we were just like.
I highly doubt that Jax is just gonna kill Seymour as punishment for Dave missing another session.
No,
I don't think he's gonna do that.
2 sessions this month.
Yeah.
Out with it.
It's just like, you want a battle, right? Here's a battle. You have 15 displays apiece and no support.
I mean, if you're looking at the map, right, we went through the Fields of the Dead, you know, and then we finally got to the road towards Subar. And then we traveled together for a while before the attack happened. So it wouldn't be, like, nonsensical that it would have taken us, like, an hour before we started seeing the Subar in the distance, right?
Yeah.
So I think that we're probably not more than an hour away from him. I'm just gonna assume.
So, but what are we gonna do? Are we gonna wait for him to get to us, or are we gonna go to him?
I think we
See
should
what
backtrack.
happens. See what Jax says.
Kai would backtrack. She'd be like, "Fuck."
Fuck. It's such a stupid, idiotic move as well.
Yeah.
It's such a our party thing to do. Be like, oh, he's unconscious. That's fine. And then just.
Someone keep an eye on him. And we've all had the thought, someone will keep an eye on him, so no one keeps an eye on him.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Break.
I've just realised it's almost 4, which means we've been doing this for 2 hours.
Oh my god. It doesn't feel like that. We have so much to talk about.
Jeez.
Take a quick break.
Yes. I
Yeah.
vote we take a quick...
Have we been doing this for 2 hours? I feel like it's only been an hour.
Same.
It's been an hour and...
Like 15 minutes because we started
Yeah.
No, wait. We meant to start at 2:30. We actually started at 2:45. It's now... almost
shit.
4.
We've been going longer than 2 hours.
Jesus.
Oh.
No, we haven't.
No,
Wait.
no,
it's
that's
almost
not how
4.
maths works.
An hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Sorry, German time because I'm an hour ahead.
Yeah.
An hour and... An hour and a bit.
Listen, we'll take your break, okay? We can do the maths.
Yeah.
Well, they can do it off stream.
Stay tuned. We'll be back in 10 minutes.
Thank you for doing that, because
Whenever.
I don't know how to take breaks. Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Hi. That's how you introduce a podcast. Yeah.
Yes. Hello.
People are eating things. We're just gonna go about this casually. Well, I say that like we don't always go about this casually.
We have a structure.
I don't. We should. We should really kind of.
We really should.
Work something out. I don't know.
Speaking of which, what on earth are we talking about now?
I don't remember. But Legend and Song, thank you for the follow. I'd like to tell you that it's not always this chaotic.
You've come to the wrong day.
Saturdays and Sundays. It's Saturdays, Sundays, and Thursdays. Tomorrow, with Janks's smoking behind screens, is not as chaotic as this. But this is just. Yeah,
the weekend is where you want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember what we
Also,
talked about.
way more educational, informative, and well structured.
The storytelling on weekends is brilliant. Thursday, you learn so much about DMing and D&D in general. Storytelling here, it's the tiki bar music is on again.
Again.
There it is.
It's telling you something.
Yep, this is the tiki bar music.
Yep. Yeah.
As we discuss what on earth has happened to our characters.
I don't know, man. Here's a question about characters. Are you surprised in which the way your characters have developed from the session 1 to now?
Which characters? All of them?
Let's do Elturel, because that's the one that's kind of been going on most continuously and for the longest at the moment.
Well, for Reina, I feel like there hasn't been much of a change yet to her entire story.
Changed gods. Well, she kind of changed gods.
Yeah, she's still in between, so it's not like a drastical change that has happened yet. So
a lot's
I feel
happened
like,
around her, but not to her.
Yeah, I feel like one day she'll completely change up everything that's happening.
Yeah.
When something happens, and we'll have to see when that happens. But for now, I feel like she's still kind of the same person she was before. And she hasn't really changed much, basically.
What about Kaya? Because Kaya's kind of... I feel like Kaya's kind of similar, however, there's more an element of... how can I put this? Openness towards us as a group now?
Yeah, I mean... the question was... did I change in this way, or how did she change in unexpected ways?
Are you surprised at how she has changed?
Okay. Well, I certainly didn't expect her to make a deal with Zariel and get an eye poked out. But that happened in like session 2.
Yeah.
So I guess already there I kind of understood that Janks's playstyle was just to throw me in the deep end and see if I could swim.
Yeah, that's kind of his attitude towards things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess that I think Kaya is definitely more open when it comes to the group. I think that the biggest way that she has changed during this is I guess to open up a little bit more, to be like ready to be in a group again, right? Especially with the idea that like, her group they didn't all die. But she isn't even all the way there yet anyways, because even though she's now like, we shouldn't split up, we have to make sure everybody's okay, she's trying her best to make sure that everybody in this group is like okay and trying to help them. But she's doing that out of like, she's almost doing that more subconsciously than anything else. She's doing it because she cares about them, but she hasn't acknowledged to herself that she cares about them yet. So she's still in this weird like middle ground situation where she wants everyone to be like a tight knit group and to be like okay and happy and get what they want, but she doesn't know that she wants that. And she's also trying to be okay with not wanting that and being okay with leaving at the same time. So I think that she hasn't really changed, but she's kind of changed. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah. Like it's kind of, it's not changing on like a deep kind of groundbreaking emotional level. It's kind of a change in direction slightly and an idea of a change in priorities. It's
almost like she's regressed a bit. Like she's a little more like Ash than she was as Kaya now. Like, you know, she's a little bit more open, a little bit more, you know, caring. Like that's kind of how she's changed.
Yeah. I think it's kind of similar with Hattie. We've just lost a friend.
No.
My friend's back. I think it's the same with Hattie of like she still has impulse control issues and she still doesn't really have a direction, but she's now with a group of people other than people from Candlekeep who she considers to be family, and she like wants that to continue and wants to stay together, although she doesn't think that's possible. She thinks that she's going to have to go back to Candlekeep and kind of maybe meet up with you guys on various different things and meet you on the road, as it were, but she doesn't think it's possible to kind of keep doing Candlekeep, which is where she thinks she belongs, and also stay with you guys. She doesn't think those two things can exist together. Unless you guys suddenly all turn around and like, yeah, we'll join Candlekeep. Like, yeah, she doesn't think those two things can coexist.
I'm trying to imagine any one of us joining Candlekeep.
Yeah, no, that would be
a hot mess.
Yeah.
Dude, I think at Candlekeep they will just be like, well, sure, you want to join us, but we don't want you here.
Yeah, just like we've learned from our mistakes. We existed because of a very terrible mistake. We will not invite another one into this house.
Also, you'd have to bring a book to join. Which
I got
feels
fucking nothing.
Weirdly like a book club, but you have to bring like new knowledge or something. So, well, I guess like Snipe is probably the closest to that, with coming from a different world and being able to be like, electricity.
Bitch.
Yeah. I bring the Industrial Revolution to Candlekeep.
There you go.
Yeah,
this is all my knowledge.
Yeah, welcome to early stage capitalism. You're welcome.
Yeah. Hey, no, right, here's what not to do.
I just realised I cheersed that while having a Coke.
Iconic.
Capitalism.
I mean, yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. Well, on that sobering note, Raina. Yeah, are you, it's like, what's the question? What's going on? Same. But are you oh no, you did answer this question, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Morning.
Snipe!
Hey, you finally remembered. I was gonna say something. I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna say it.
It's like, in my head it was like Raina and Snipe still need to answer this question. But Raina's already answered it. So hi Soph, Snipe.
Oh.
Are you surprised in ways in which they have developed as a character over the past 20-something episodes?
I didn't expect.
It's been more than 20 episodes.
Yeah.
It's for sure been more than 20 episodes.
Yeah. I didn't expect them to change at all, or I wasn't expecting anything. Really?
None of us were expecting anything. None of us were.
I certainly wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting like the change to go in directions like most physically, and spiritually.
Sorry about that.
It started out as a one shot, so we didn't really expect anything of our character.
Yeah, everything that came was a surprise.
Minutes to make this character. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Please,
you okay, Rebecca?
I just opened. I was trying to find out. It's been 27 episodes, by the way. I was just looking that up. Except when you go on a Twitch channel, if they're live, it automatically plays the audio from the stream. So there was half a second delay. So you'd say something and then half a second later.
Oh god, everything's gone dark.
Okay, I don't know what gremlins have attacked the stream, but
it's Becca. Becca's the gremlin that attacked.
Yep, that's me.
He is within the mainframe.
What were you saying before I...
I can't even remember. I'm not surprised at what Snipe's been through. Not really, because I wasn't expecting anything.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised with Hattie's development, mainly because, like, as a DM, when you get given a character who has... Are you okay, Naomi?
Don't die.
The gremlins!
You're attacked.
When you get given a character who's like got impulse control issues and is kind of childlike, like the automatic thing you do. The automatic thing you do. It's all going downhill from here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
Very
Hi.
swimmingly.
The automatic thing you do is like the same thing with kids of like your actions have consequences. And that's just what Janks has done. And although I'm kind of surprised in the way it's been done, with like questioning her identity and making her like make decisions in the way that kind of things have happened, it's still all been kind of like, oh, you punch someone in the face, there are consequences. You know, like it's not surprising, but it's fun and unexpected still.
Yeah, I mean, Janks is really a kind of DM who like takes his DM's guide and just slaps you over the head with consequences at everything.
Yeah.
Just like
Everything you do has positive and negative consequences.
Right.
There's always something attached to it.
Yeah.
It's not you just walk off and you'll decide to do something and it will come back to haunt you
and
eventually.
it's so subtle how he does it too.
Yeah.
Like every DM likes to implement consequences in some way, right? But a lot of times it's like, you know, it's like very obvious stuff or very heavy-handed, which isn't bad either.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm always so impressed by Janks's storytelling ability, how he's just able to be like, oh yeah, this thing that is now happening is because of something you did 3 sessions ago, but it's not like a punishment, right? It's just, it feels so like natural. Like, yes, of course, this is what was going to happen, right?
Yeah. Cause and effect.
He's just such a brilliant storyteller.
I think it's because he's a very keen observer, because the majority of us, I think, we've tried to escape him breaking our hearts by just not telling him anything about our characters, mainly because we couldn't think
Then
of
he
really
just makes shit up.
backstories. Yeah, no, we don't really have backstories, so he just keenly watches us improv and think, oh, that's an interesting tidbit. I am going to make an entire episode based on this.
I mean, even with like Hattie, where it's kind of like, I was like, yeah, she's kind of got a sad backstory and like she doesn't know her family and like she's with Candlekeep, but she's fine with it, you know, like she has Candlekeep, she considers that, like she loves her job, she considers that her family. She has like Elephant.
I think elephant.
Who's like her boss, but also like a parental figure as well, in the fact that he like took her from the orphanage and like got her a job at Candlekeep. And
the sending messages were so adorable. I was like,
yeah.
Like, but he still managed to kind of twist it and turn it around into, okay, sure, you don't know who you are, but you don't know who you are. And here you're being faced with people who are actually okay with not knowing who they are, but like go to a tower. And Sophie, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just, there's a lot of stuff that's going on my screen.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm fine. No, I was just looking at something.
Reaction to what I was saying.
That was just like me reading, and everything just went to fucking blurry noise for a second. I was like, what am I reading?
Oh, okay.
Very concentrated face.
Jesus, what was I saying? Yeah, like you're surrounded by people who are genuinely okay with like not knowing who they are, or people who aren't okay with not knowing who they are and they're doing something about it. And actually you find that like Hattie's found that she's somewhere in the middle of like, she's okay not knowing, but now there's like a breadcrumb trail of like finding out who she actually is, and like her curiosity is like getting the better of her. And
there's a possibility of knowing.
Yeah.
She is okay with not knowing, but right now there is a possibility.
You just can't get away from Janks's beautiful storytelling. It's just...
Yeah, I should probably like message him and ask him to send me like everything I should know about Longsaddle, because I still like I only know what happened in that session. Hey Janks, you're probably watching this back. Could you send me like, I know you have like a shit ton of work to do, even like in DMing, but could you also make time to just send me like a comprehensive list of everything I should know about Long Saddle, and, like friends that Kaya had, and, like NPCs and shit like that? I'm sure it'll only take you like 3 days.
It'll only take up until the second Dave hits live on the stream. And then I'll get up and go and do something so you can...
No, wait, Jags, I should, that was a joke. You don't actually have to do it. Just, if you want to send me something...
Now that you have willed that into existence, he will do it.
Don't actually, oh god.
Be careful. Be careful with your DMs right now.
And he will say, I cried when writing.
Yeah.
Your backstory.
Oh, that was... I don't know whether we shared it with... shared it on here, but we got a... I don't know whether it was in person before we went live or as a message on the Discord, but we got a message from Jank saying, oh, I've just been doing some...
it was on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
It was tweets.
It was like, I've just been writing up the story arc, and I made myself cry writing the story arc, and we were all like, Jank?
Whose story arc? Which one?
Who are you talking about right now? Help!
Elaborate?
Should we be concerned?
Can you... What is in your mouth? Get it out. Give it here.
What have you got?
What have you got? What have you got? Don't eat the plastic. I don't know why it suddenly turned into a cat, but... That's kind of how I interpret DMs, you know? They're like grumpy and like they do a lot of things that you don't really understand.
What have you got? A knife!
And they got a zoomy every once in a while. They have just a writing zoomy, like I know what's right. I know the story.
Yeah, and then the kind of like the presence of a god in like a scene or whatever. Like they follow you around room from you house to house, but pretend they don't care and pretend it's a coincidence that they're with you. And, like, don't look you.
Oh, we meet again.
Nothing to do with me.
I'm not here for any reason.
We meet again? Huh?
What do you mean someone dug up the plant pot?
I mean, honestly, I remember I was like, you know what, Kaya, not a note taker. I'm just not gonna worry about like notes and lore. And now I wish I had, because I barely remember what the fuck happened in like the forest or any of that shit. And like I was like, it's probably not important because we're done with that. But now so many like story elements are coming back and I'm like, shit.
Yeah, my god. It's just all beautifully linked up, and I want to, when this campaign is over, I'd either love to like sit down with Janks and like go through all of his notes and just talk with him about his entire process and how he, and I know that that's what Smokescreen is, but I'd love to see like the specificity of Road to Elturel and as a player how I interpreted it, and then
behind the scenes
of it all. I would love that. So if you could just do like a 12-hour stream when we finish this campaign.
Have a live stream that just goes
we
on for
should
12
do a
hours.
wrap-up.
The wrap-up live stream.
podcast.
Hell yeah. We can ask Janks a whole shit ton of questions, you know, like, what the fuck was this about?
Yeah.
The worst part is, I don't actually want this campaign to end, so...
Oh, yeah. I mean, it'll be a couple years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just
I
from
feel
like
For as long as quarantine is still a common situation, then we'll keep this going.
Yeah. Because I feel like right now
could you imagine doing a wrap-up session in person? Like, it's like 3 years later, and we like all meet up, sit down on a couch, and we're like, all right, Janks.
Around the table.
Tell us.
We need to do that now.
I feel like this campaign, because right now we're on the Road to Elturel arc, but there's for sure so much more to discover.
Oh yeah. I mean, we already have plans for what we're gonna do after Elturel. Like, we gotta go to Baldur's Gate, we gotta go to Waterdeep. Like, shit ain't gonna end there.
So when we're level 20. Oh,
yeah, but
God,
I don't.
level 20.
I don't think we'll reach level 20 at the end of Road to Elturel. I think we'll reach. I think we're like level 8 to 10. I think.
Yeah. Really, you think that Janks is gonna end it before we get to level? That's interesting. I just kind of.
Well, considering how long it's taken for us to get to a certain
but like
levels,
when we reach Elturel, I mean, we will be like level 10. I feel like it won't be level 20 when we reach Elturel.
But Elturel isn't the end, right?
No, that's why.
It's definitely not gonna be level 20 when we reach
No.
Elturel. But by the end of the campaign, I think we'll be level 20.
Yeah.
I think we'll go all the way.
So what we now need to plan out is a location in which, or country, I think is the most important thing at the moment, in which we can do a wrap-up.
It will probably end up being the UK, isn't it?
There's more of us here than there are.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, America would probably be easier for me and Jenks, but I think
I would just love to just sit in Jenks' office and just see what is there.
Yeah,
Because he just conjures actual items.
Yeah, like, where do you get that from? Like, how the hell,
He's
dude?
like throwing a sword out, just like, I just had this arrive today, just like, where the fuck did you get that?
And all
is
of
it
the, like,
sharpened? Of course it is.
All of the knickknacks he just like pulls up on stream and he's like, hey, this is exactly, you know, Hattie's hairband right now. Like,
there's a soul coin that you were looking for and he just taps it.
Yeah, but I feel like, because Jenks does a lot of in-person sessions with friends, like, before quarantine.
Yeah.
So he said, I think he mentioned before, he likes to pull out props for his players to just like look at and be able to hold it and read anything from it if it's necessary. But because we're on stream, he won't be able to give it to us.
God, I really want to play a session in person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we have to do it. We have to do it at some point.
Yeah.
How are we gonna be able to do that though? Like the logistics are gonna be.
Get a house somewhere.
So we hire a house out. My sister has arrived home. If there's any background noise, it's just Lottie.
It doesn't even have to be a house, right? It can just be like there are rentable like rooms in like hotels or like locations and stuff like that actually can go for pretty cheap, right? Yeah. Or we can even I think there's like rentable rooms in libraries and shit as well. Like
over in England, we could go the good old fashioned way that a lot of Dungeons and Dragons goes, and we just find a pub that is actually an inn.
Yeah.
Endless drinking.
Okay.
Wooden table.
There's
stone walls. Get too pissed. Walk straight to bed.
Yeah.
There's a pub in or a bar really in Southampton which is called the Hobbit. It is kind of well known, and all of the drinks are like Lord of the Rings related. And it's just like you walk in and it's like all dark and like. It's the coolest place ever. I vote we do it there.
Yeah.
So.
Is it expensive?
No more expensive than like a bar in Southampton is.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Yes.
Man.
But yeah, I think it's really fun to just sit around a wooden table and just like a real wooden table. No, just real wooden with like scratch marks and cross things and like candle dripping on top.
Take like a dagger and do like
get like when you're in a real conversation and you just pull out a letter and place it on the table and jab a dagger into the cannon place.
We're going to need to fight. Okay, and then we just step up, walk in circles as we think, and just go. Okay, here's my plan.
Pacing.
Yeah. But that's where like if we're talking about it, that's where like my actor inside of me like really pops up because I'm like, then we can act in real life, like not only with our emotions.
The voice, God, if Dave's like, he's just gonna get up and say, "All right, this is how I take him down," and just like actually do.
He's
like martial arts,
demonstrating his martial arts skills. Oh my God.
We need to do that.
I also like the small parts of like playing D&D together, of like when you like reach out and touch someone, you can like actually touch someone's arm and like just small things like that, and like nudging them if like you actually nudge them in a conversation.
Pat on the back.
Or... you know, no lag. Being able to like look someone in the eye or something. Be like,
I've forgotten how to do that. I was talking to someone at a shop and I couldn't look them in the eye. I don't know what's happened to me. I cannot communicate with people anymore.
Yeah, but I feel like even though like it's pretty okay right now on camera just to play D&D, when looking, if you're in an emotional moment and just looking someone in the eye can mean a shit ton.
Everybody listening to the same music while oh my God,
there's so much little details that like could elevate everything.
I'm gonna end up crying so much if we do it in person. Like someone's gonna hold eye contact with me and be like, Hattie, it's okay, and I'll just be like
it's all good.
You'll find out how much of an ugly crier I am. Oh gosh.
I should dream of a world that doesn't have a fucking virus.
Let's hope everyone gets vaccinated at the end of this year.
Yeah. Man, I just want to meet you guys in person. Like I've only met.
It's so hard to act.
IRL.
Okay, a little bit off topic. Does anybody else feel like really bummed about the fact that like COVID has basically taken like a year away from you?
Yeah.
Sometimes I think about like what what I could have been doing, especially in like a year where I was supposed to have months and months of free time.
Yeah.
And like now it's like, you know, I don't know, it's a bummer.
No, so for me, oh, we've lost a friend again. I bet the cat's just walking in and out of her room. Cat? Is it the cat?
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone owes me money for that. Yeah, so before COVID, I was at my second year in film school. I ended up deferring a year because I could see the pandemic happening, and I could just see that like freshers flu was going to just turn into COVID-19. So I ended up deferring that year, and now I've gotten to the end, like the beginning of the end of what would have been my final year, and I've been looking at the way in which my other uni, the uni that I'm meant to be at, has been handling COVID, and it's just not great. So I'm changing unis, which means I'll have to start my second year again. So I'm going to a different university because of COVID. I'm doing an extra year of uni because of COVID, which means I now don't have the option of doing my master's paid for by the government. So like, it's literally changed the direction in which my life is going.
Yeah.
It's not just like, I can't play D&D in person, which is awful, but it's like fucking
There's so many other factors down.
Before, in like July, you know, or even earlier in like May, when lockdown was seriously starting, right? I was like, oh, this is weird and like shitty, you know, but it's also, you know, like shit happens, right? Like it'll be fine. And now I'm just like, I'm actually upset. Like I'm actually angry that it's been like a good year of my life where I could have, you know, I could have done internships, I could have met up with friends, I could have, you know, gone to cons. We could have probably even met in person earlier, right?
Yeah.
All of these things that I wanted to do, like especially like internships and college-related things and classes over a break, right? That I was gonna do, that I just cannot do anymore.
Yeah.
Just makes me so upset that it's like a year of my life I'm just never gonna get back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, there was a plan for. So I met Dave and Soph and everyone else for the first time at VidCon, and then there was a plan of doing like a JSE community meetup, no paid entry, not having to worry about anything other than travel, just one day in London, meet up in a park, get McDonald's or something, and just sit around and chat. Which arguably could have been the time in which you guys came over to the UK and come and said hi, but because of COVID it wasn't safe to be in a group of more than one, and then socially distanced from all other humans. So it's just, and like now I'm not even looking at being able to do it this year. So it's gonna be 2023. Jesus.
To be honest, like I kind of saw it coming.
No, 2022. Like, I know how time works. I know what year it is, guys.
Yeah. To be honest, I kind of saw it coming. It's a case where, like, my brother is somebody who, like, works in the science field, so he's able to say, like, oh no, this is what is going to happen, and for the certainty that this will happen, like, you've got nothing to worry about. So, in my mind, it will not surprise me if it takes 5 years for us to meet up in person again. And even though everyone said, oh no, the vaccine's okay now, so everything should be uphill from here, you know, yesterday, in our country, we had announced that 100,000 people have now died in our country because of COVID, and it's a case where it's like, that's one of 100,000 lives lost because of basically a government that completely undermined and underwhelmed this terrible thing that happened. And I'm furious at this point because it's like, okay, now it's such a case where it's like, what other fucked up thing are they going to do to waste more time?
I mean, in America, wasn't it 200K like almost now 6 months ago? Yeah. Right? I mean, now it's, what is the number now? It's fucking ridiculous, right? It's just ridiculous. I mean, we're so sorry if you came here to listen to D&D and now, I mean...
But we can't really avoid it. We can't avoid it. Like, the majority...
everything.
We made this fucking, like, whole thing, this channel, because we wanted to escape what the fuck was going on in the world, but we can't really escape it because, you know, eventually you have the question of, oh, it'd be good if we all met up in person. Now we realize, oh, we fucking can't.
Mm-hmm.
Just fuck it.
I don't know. I feel like there should be like a way of ending this conversation positively and with a cool spin or just something, anything really. But I
don't know. Wear your mask, stay socially distanced, don't go out unless you need to.
Yeah.
Let's just fucking get this over with again.
You know, with all the negative, I mean, what we can definitely say is that, you know, out of this very stressful and shitty year that has been 2020 and 2021, which will probably continue to be a COVID-stricken year for quite a while, this is probably the best thing that has happened to me in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This entire situation, us playing D&D together, making friends through this, has been really cool. It's been so like uplifting and fun, and I really, really appreciate it. And I really appreciate that we continue to do it for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that might be the positive note I would take out of here, is just that I'm just glad that this happened.
Yeah.
I mean, just
Also
to
for me.
poke your eyes out comment, it permeates life, and D&D is life. It's inescapable.
Yeah. Well, it's fun because, well, it's not fun, but it's interesting because I finished my high school this year. I graduated, but I didn't do any exams. And first, when like Dave approached me about D&D, my mom was like, well, you first need to make sure you got everything for your exams done so you can graduate high school. And then the exams got cancelled. So then I was able to join this D&D group.
Yeah.
So it's a weird mix of events that's shitty and nice at the same time.
Yeah. I mean,
one good thing COVID did.
Well,
I mean, like, when everyone's like, oh, 2020, worst year of my life, like, in some ways I agree. Yes, COVID is absolutely awful, and there is absolutely, it permeates life. There is absolutely no way of escaping the effects that COVID has had on, like, I don't go and pick up the post anymore without washing my hands afterwards. Like, small things like that. But at the same time, like, I've met you guys, and we're now really good friends, and we play D&D together, and like I started streaming, although I don't really stream anymore, and I got affiliate with that, and like I started writing a script which I'm absolutely in love with, and like there were so many things that, because I have had the headspace of not being at uni because of COVID, of not seeing other human beings because of COVID, like I've grown as a person in a way that I don't think I would have done if I had like everyday life going on. And admittedly I probably would be in this place maybe in a few years' time if it wasn't for COVID. It just kind of sped up the process because it was just me, myself and I stuck in a bedroom, you know. But I know I'm really reluctant to call this year, last year, or this year, or the year after that, the worst years of my life. Because so many small positive things have come out of it, which have changed my life for the better, you know?
I think the past few years this past year is just like really solidified. Because like years before this, like it was the smaller problems that were annoyances that we'd just get over the top angry about, and it was just like, you think about other people in parts of the world who go through horrors every day and still pull through with smiles on their face. Like this horrific thing that we now have to live through has made us appreciate this small. And as much as we can say like, yeah, it's, you know, awful that we have to live through this, you know, finding the small things we have and making the friendships we did, when all this is over, you know, that's something to look forward to when everything goes back to normal.
The tiki bar music was on again. I'm so sorry.
Of course.
Because eyes out games, it just goes to show that the best parts are in the parts that you don't always look at. I think we're always a little bit I think we are all little grateful to look for those spaces more often.
Yeah, because it's like, if you look at world events, it's been a shit year, 2020. But if you look at, like, if everyone looks at it, their individual, like, little bubble they've been living in, I feel like most people have gained something out of it. If it's like getting rid of a burnout, getting more time for yourself, enjoying the outside more, being with your children, like all that shit. There's personal gains, but if you look at the entire picture of the entire world, it's fucking shit because people have died.
However, there are
and people are
personal
dying.
losses as well. Like you hear stories of like a 6-year-old kid who lost their mum, dad, an older brother or and other siblings to COVID, and they're the only one who
Jesus.
survived. Like,
we're trying to end on a positive note.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well,
Oh
we're
no.
doing like positive lines personally, as if like the deaths didn't individually.
we can't really ignore that. Like,
No, it's
most
there.
I think the majority of some of us, we are
Sorry.
lucky
Mm-hmm.
because the majority of us are young, so it's like we've not really done a lot in life to have a lot to lose.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like, unfortunately, we live in a world in which you must work to get money to feed you.
Yeah.
And if you have more people in your life, that's more of a burden.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to have living with a virus that says you either have to risk losing your job, therefore starving your family, or you can go to your job, therefore risking your health and the health of all of the people around you.
Yeah.
And it's just made you realize, I know there's probably a lot of things you need to cherish in life, and I don't really think your job should be one of them, because now we're in a position where it's like, was it really worth it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you've gone into work the one day, caught it, and got someone ill, it's just like, was that really worth it? And it should not have been worth it. But we have
Okay.
to.
Yes. Yes, obviously. Yes. I
Yes.
feel like we can continue this conversation, but I feel like maybe we should try to wrap up here and just actually try to end on a bit of a less of a bummer, which is just that, D&D is fantastic. It's great escape. It's allowed all of us to have a great time, meet people that are interesting, meet people that we like, make friendships that I never thought I was going to make ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even though there's like obviously this pandemic, that someone else take over, please.
Even though there is this pandemic going on, and it's
Yeah.
kind of destroyed every sense of normality that we had, we're still able to come together and tell stories and play characters and share in storytelling experiences which we otherwise wouldn't have been able to have. And
Okay, now we take over again.
and go.
D&D is great. COVID sucks, of course, but just appreciate the things you have in your life, because they matter, and that's really what's important here, right? Is the friendships we make, the people we love, and to appreciate them every day, even through whatever shit goes on in the world.
Amen.
Amen.
Find the treasures you really cherish to, look after yourself and keep going.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe the friendships along the way was the D&D we played.
Oh my god, just no, stop.
Yeah,
stop.
no, it's important to see that you're on this earth to enjoy the thing that's life.
Yeah.
And if you find something that makes you happy, even though the world is like literally crumbling around you, go for it and enjoy it and have a good time, because
the world won't be crumbling forever.
No.
It's like fucking Gandalf, Lord of the Rings. It's just like, not many people enjoy living in these times, and what's important is what we do with the time that's given.
Yeah.
That's cute, actually.
Yeah.
I was not sure when you led with Gandalf.
Neither.
Why is D&D related?
I wasn't quite sure where you were going with it, but...
But one thing I can enjoy is that Jank says that he doesn't really understand how Gandalf's magic works, and he likes that he doesn't understand how the fuck that fucker works.
Well, that annoyed me, but what? Agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Okay. We will wrap up here. Thank you everyone for coming and hanging out. The second half to this was even more chaos than the first half, and that's what I like about this podcast.
We're so sorry.
Why should we be? Because we're having fun, right?
Yeah, you know what? We're
being honest and fun.
Yeah.
All right, what was the thing that we were supposed to narrate? Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Check out Smoking Screen.
Smoke Screens on Thursdays. I just remembered that I was meant to be presenting this. Hi.
One of us hit live, I can't remember who. Oh, fuck, it was me.
Someone is in charge here.
Okay.
And it's not me. Oh well.
Whoops. Smoke Screen tomorrow at 10 PM BST?
Usually
11
It
PM
jumps depending.
Keep
an eye on our
tomorrow.
Twitter. There'll be an
It'll
announcement that
happen.
says when that shit goes live.
About
When you least
DMing
expect it.
stuff. Road to Elturel campaign Saturday, Crimson Petal Sunday, and then we are once again at the beginning of the week and back to the chaos that is this podcast.
I think it's 11 p.m. BST.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. We'll work it
it's
out.
12.
It's fine. You
Sure.
Twitter.
Tomorrow.
Something will happen. Don't worry.
God, I got a raid. Oh no!
Do you
I
really?
wasn't prepared.
Yeah, it's 11.
You know what?
Yeah.
Whiskey, Dave. That's not how you spell whiskey. I'm panicking.
Dave is offline.
He is.
He
I thought he
is.
was live still.
No, he's offline.
Nope.
That bugger didn't even have the chance
Liar.
to raid. How dare he?
Liar. You know what? We're not gonna raid anyone. This is just the chaos you expect.
We're gonna end it.
We're just gonna.
We're gonna
I'm not
leave
even
it.
gonna cut to the end screen. I'm just gonna press end stream.
I
Because
Bye,
that's-
everybody.
yeah,
Thanks for
professional.
joining
That's
us.
a wrap up.
We're sorry and go fuck yourself.
We're sorry and go fuck yourself. Goodbye.